are live. Make sure my mic's working here. Let's see. Perfect. All right, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch the show. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. We've been covering the Sebastian Rogers case for over a month now. And we are basically on the eve of 7 months since he went missing, and still nothing of, evidentiary value since other than the lights. But that's what we've been focusing on is the footage, and we've been coming together and trying to figure out, what these lights could be, where they're at. And I think we've made a lot of progress this past month. And again, it's not just me, it's a collective effort. So I just want to thank everybody for being here and helping me and sending in tips. And I try to get back to everybody. I get so many emails, and so if I haven't gotten back to you, I apologize. Sometimes if it's a new person that emails me, a lot of times they end up in the spam folder for whatever reason. So just be patient. I will try to get to everybody. But anyway, again, thank you guys so much for all the support. Real quickly, I do have a thing up at the top, and we'll kind of talk about it more here in a bit about this case, but this is kind of a one-time thing, at least it's something I don't do often. But if you guys donate today, 50% of all the donations that come in, we will donate to Text Protects, and we'll talk about more about what that is, but it's for child, and I have to be careful with one of the words because it's YouTube doesn't like these two words together, but obviously it goes towards that and child neglect, and it's in Texas. It's a nonprofit organization. So if you do donate through Super Chat, Venmo, PayPal, 50% of that, we'll do that at the end of the show as well. That's something I like to do because I like to show receipts whenever we do something like this. It's not often we do this, but it's kind of a special occasion because there's a case we worked on, which was Amber Crum, just a little girl, and it became a cold case because she went missing on literally the day after Christmas in Texas. And we believe foul play was involved, and we will talk a little bit about it as more people come in. But basically, on December 26, 1983, the mother's boyfriend went to this small little grocery store. I mean, we're talking very small, like like a Family Dollar type store, and supposedly went in and left her and she was just 2 years old, I believe, and left her in the vehicle, went in to grab a few things, and then when he came out, supposedly she was gone. But after doing an investigation, we believe that foul play was involved. I have to be careful with what I say, but because it's actually an ongoing investigation. But today would be her birthday because she was born on September 25th, 1981. So she would be 43 today. So again, anybody that would like to donate, again, a lot of the donations will go towards Text Protects, which is an amazing organization, and we'll talk more about that. So, no, she's not the actual Amber Alert. That is a different Amber. I forget. It's Amber. Her last name is with an H. The Amber Alert that was based off. It wasn't based off this Amber, unfortunately. It was based off a different Amber. But I can't think of the last name. I know it starts with an H, though. I'm sure somebody in chat will get it. All right, let's get into Sebastian, then we'll talk more about that that foundation. But if you do send in a PayPal or Venmo, just let my mods know, and of course we'll check it. And then again, we'll do everything together at the end, and we'll send in those donations to the Text Protects again. So, Sebastian Rogers, literally on the eve of 7 months, went missing on February 26, was last seen physically on the 25th, sometime around 9 to 10 p.m., somewhere around in there. He was wearing black sweatpants, sweatshirt, glasses, supposedly no shoes, and allegedly left with his keychain flashlight. So let's get into it. We have a lot of exciting stuff, of course, with the footage, as you've seen in the thumbnail. We will get to that. We always like to start with, the lights and just giving the timeline of how everything occurs. I also have some clips. I've been going through all the old interviews, and I'm still going through them, but there were some things that the Proudfoot say that I thought was very kind of interesting, and so I kind of plugged them in as well. Hagerman, yes, that's it. That's right, Amber Hagerman. Yeah, I think she was like, I think I want to say like 10 to 12 years old. And I forget what year that was. But yeah, what a tragic story. Okay, let me get this all set up. All right, here. So I'm just going to let this play for a minute here so I can get the chat here. We've got almost 500 people in here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about Text Protect.
See that the two lights at the top, which have been assumed to be floodlights. And using this line, we can determine that those lights cannot be any higher than the hood of that truck. Using this method, we can determine exactly where those lights are coming from. So looking at where that truck was parked that night, seen in this overview, photo here taken the day of, we can then use a Google Street image and line up approximately where that truck was parked. Notice we add the red line and look at where it takes us. There is a house exactly across the street. This house is next to the Rogers residence. This home has its garage facing towards the camera. It also has 3 garage doors on it. Guess what? That's right, it has floodlights above each garage door.
Huge shout out to Christina Strife, member for 15 months. She says 15 months since we were in Texas looking for Amber Crumb. Yes, again, and we'll talk more about Amber kind of in the middle of the show. We actually went out and worked on the case, and it was pretty wild. So we have some footage of that to show you guys. That's why we're kind of celebrating Amber Crumb, because something like in her situation could have been, unfortunately, it should never have happened. And that's why we want to donate towards Text Protects. And we'll talk about the statistics and everything here. But thank you so much, Christina. She was with us when we went to Texas to work on that 40-year-old cold case.
So here, I am taking a street Google view of the direction of the camera, and then adding the security footage overlaid into the Google image.
Yeah, Hagerman.
And notice how the floodlights do line up with the image. But because the footage itself was filmed with a phone, it is a bit shaky and doesn't always line up. But this does give you an example of where everything is taking place. The lights labeled as subject 1 and 2 are moving across the 2 yards. So the big question is, are they flashlights or something else? And where are they coming from exactly, and where are they going to? What I'm about to show you next will shock you to your core, because the angle of the camera is not quite level with the street. I realized that in order to match up the footage and image correctly,
the email, if you need to get hold of me, emails will be in the chat, and it's also all the links to anything for like PayPal, Venmo, anything, email. They're also in the description, so all you have to do is just go under the video of the live and then just click more. Details about the description. It has all the links you need in there to get a hold of me.
It needed to be tilted a bit to match the angle of the camera footage, and by doing this, literally put all the pieces to the puzzle together.
Thank you so much, Donna.
And what you're about to see, in my opinion, is exactly what happened that night. And pay close attention to where those lights are coming from. I also fixed the footage the best I can to keep the floodlights lined up.
And this is very important. That tilt, again, like I said, I cannot emphasize how important that tilt is. And it actually is going to relate to what we're going to talk about a little bit later. Just like I said, I want to allow people to get in here. And of course, we'll start talking about the new stuff as well.
With the garage. Notice we can see subject 1 just behind the house to the right. Then we see subject 2 literally come out from behind the house to the left. This subject literally came from the yard shared by the Proudfoot's home. As subject 2 heads towards subject 1, we noticed that the light disappears right behind the gazebo between the two homes. As we continue to watch, notice that it seems like subject 1 is waiting for subject 2 to get closer, as if guiding this person to a car waiting nearby. Noticed as we wait for subject 2 to reappear, we see that subject 1 now moves behind the home to the right, and we cannot see them anymore. Then we see subject 2 reappear to the right of the gazebo. Noticed as subject 2 moves to the right, there are trees, and the light shimmers as it moves, closer to the home on the right. I believe this is not...
So one thing, another experiment I want to do is, so this is approximately from point A to point B, from where subject 2 starts and disappears. It's just a little over 100 feet, right? Now, the average person walks 3 to 4 feet per second. So that means they should have, if they were just walking at normal pace, without a ditch, that should only take about 30 seconds, approximately, give or take, kind of depending on your pace and everything, right? Now, of course, they have a ditch that they have to go through. So obviously that would probably take, an extra 5 to 10 seconds. But for subject 2 to go from point A to point B takes nearly 1 minute and 20 seconds. It's almost 3 times as long as, actually 4 times as long as it should as a normal person just walking from point A to point B. So it's interesting. Some people theorize, could this person be escorting Sebastian? Could they be carrying Sebastian? But for whatever reason, they take much longer than the average person would walk this just a little over 100 feet between these two backyards.
Not a coincidence that Rogers goes, missing the same night that around 3 a.m. Lights are coming from the direction of Rogers' home.
So here's something that was interesting. Again, I started going back from the beginning, as you guys know, and I'm still looking at everything. And I was looking at all of Nick Barris's post, literally from the day Sebastian went missing. And I was just looking at, because he'd always keep everybody updated each day. He'd have something like this, like just kind of what they know and what's going on. Interestingly enough, about a week into the investigation, all of a sudden, he posts this. He says, we're asking everyone in the area to review footage from security and trail cameras. Please focus on the time frame from Sunday afternoon through Monday morning. Very interesting. Not Sunday night to Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever, because now it's been a week. But they're focused on Sunday afternoon to Monday morning. Not Monday afternoon, not Monday night. Very interesting.
a.m., a suspicious vehicle was spotted by camera and potential witnesses, which they believe looked like a sedan. It traveled up Kellen and turned around. It would then park near the two homes towards Stafford Street off Kellen.
Yeah, I don't know if you could pull garbage cans. Remember, there's a ditch. I don't think like a garbage can.
This next part depends on whether this was an inside job or not.
I don't think so.
If an outside job had taken place, then at least 2 persons would have exited the car. If it was an inside job, then perhaps one person got out while the driver stayed in the car.
Now, again, I know a lot of you have seen this before, but I'm going to play some clips of Chris Proudfoot and Katie. It's just some interesting things that they said in their early interviews, and that's going to come up here in just a second while we look at this footage. And then we'll get to we'll get to the vehicle, of course, as well. Hardly rare. Could that person be taken long because they had Sebastian in a chokehold and Sebastian was biting his arm? You know, it's interesting. Who knows? But it is interesting that, you know, there's a part where subject 2 does like kind of stall for a bit, you know, after they come out of the ditch, you know, like something's going on.
The first things that was asked
And
is,
we'll see it here.
because he left.
Okay, so this I thought was very interesting. Like I said, I've been going through, and I'll go through Seth's interviews. I'm going to go through everything because, again, I'm indiscriminate against, I don't know if that's the right word, but again, I just team Sebastian, right? I'm just looking at anything that could give us clues. And we know, listen to interviews, especially if just by chance they are involved, they may slip up and say something. Anyway, Katie says something that I thought was very interesting. This was literally the first interview they did. This was, I think, day 6 or 7. Because then I think the next day they did their first interview on news. Their first interview was with Dutch's YouTube channel.
Things that was asked is, because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it.
Let me play that one more time.
Was if he might have when it was very dark outside.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
The first things that was asked is, because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken.
That was very interesting. She just says he left when it was very dark outside. Very, very. I don't know if it's very odd, but it is interesting that she said that. It's so weird in their interviews, you know, for those that have heard their early interviews, people ask them, like, what do you think? Do you think abduction? Do you think he ran away? And it's so weird because it's like, just even in the same interview, like with Smiley's, like they kind of hit towards like they believe it's he walked out, and then towards the end they kind of mention like it could be an abduction. So it's so weird. But then here you have her saying, you know, he's leaving. He left late in the middle of the night. Sorry, I'll just play this one more time. I should have gone back just a tad more to give it a little more context, but.
The first things that was asked is, because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it. The first things that was asked is, because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it.
Now, to play devil's advocate on this, just to the other side, in her first interview, which is with Duchess, she does cry quite a bit in that one. You know, she's sobbing. So just kind of like I said, on the other side of things, she is sobbing in that one a lot.
There's a lot of speculations about that video.
She is kind of acting like everybody acts differently, of course, but in that one she seems pretty broken up, and then the interviews that follow, that seems to kind of really fade away. But yeah,
Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement.
right.
And they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from, and nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately.
Okay.
And anything about any other videos or anything.
So again, just a weird statement that he would make there. Let me get to chat again. We're going to get to the cars here in about 10 minutes. Just want to make sure people get in.
We've already done once. Put a fresh set of eyes on it.
To that end, Craddock says searchers recently found a pair of...
And this is just zoomed in for those that are on the cell phone. I'm going to turn this down so I can shout people out. Again, as you're rolling in, we are doing kind of a one-time thing. Any donations that come in, 50% of it will go to a foundation which goes towards child neglect and the other word that I can't say on YouTube because I don't like those two words together. But we'll talk about that mission here. But Suzaru, thank you so much. Love the mission of this channel. Please like and subscribe. Chris, you and your mods are the best. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. I cannot tell you how much I spend hours and hours putting all this footage together, trying to blow it up. And again, it's not just me. You guys have been killing it with sending in tips. And again, we're going to show that here very soon.
Glasses, which they are checking to see if they belong to Sebastian. He says the parents continue to fully cooperate. Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see two suspicious light sources, which we've circled here, in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said... No evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why?
Because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
So many are, of course,
play a
closely
role.
following this case. How difficult has it been, all the noise on social media?
Oh, the rumor mill on social media.
See how subject 2 is just kind of stalling there? So that person who commented, like, is there kind of like an altercation? You know, it is interesting. Subject 2 is, for some reason, you know, I kind of like to hope that maybe they're just escorting Sebastian, you know, and maybe, you know, there's something going on where he's, you know, not happy about it, or, you know, some kind of confrontation right there, and then they continue on.
Has done nothing to advance this case.
Craddock says investigators continue to work the case daily and deal not with feelings, but facts and evidence.
There's no stone left unturned.
Nick Barris, News Channel
5. Christina gifting 1 Mob Crew membership. Thank you so much, Christina, and everything you have done, especially for Amber and other cases. You are amazing. All right, yeah, we talked about this. Since the lights have came out, not one person in law enforcement or family member has given a rational, keyword, rational explanation for the lights, right? You know, oh, it's just a neighbor and their partner walking their dog, or, you know, they lost their dog in the middle of the night and they're looking for it, you know, something like that. But, you know, the only thing we heard is a garbage truck, which... we know that it's not a garbage truck. They don't move between the the yards. There's no reason for them to be in that area. Let's see.
At some point, as Subject 1 and 2 now move between the homes, it's believed that the suspicious car would turn onto Stafford and sit in the street for a few minutes. It's unclear as to why this car did this, but according to my sources, there were lights seen walking around the car for a bit.
And stuff.
I hope I pronounce this right. Adriana, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. You are a legend. Thank you so much. All right, so here's a few more clips. Like I said, I added some clips that I found through these interviews that I thought were very interesting.
There's so many agencies involved in this investigation.
I agree.
And I mean, across the board. And
so this comes from Smiley's World. This would be, a month after Sebastian went missing, I think, something like that. And he goes on Smiley's, which isn't a big YouTube channel. But they go on and they do have like a 3-hour interview. Very interesting. But I highlighted a few things that I found kind of odd, disturbing, or all the above.
You think of an alphabet, it's probably involved, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I have begged and begged and begged, and so has my wife. So
I don't know if you caught that, but let me play it one more time.
I agree.
And I mean, across the board. And you think of an alphabet, it's probably involved, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I don't know why that would be unfortunate. I know many cases where missing children, mothers who would just die to have as many agencies as possible involved in their case. And so I find that very odd that he would say unfortunately. That would not be the word. If I were to talk to, I don't want to mention a specific name, but I'm sure if I talk to some of the family members that I've helped in the past and said, hey, if you had more agencies come in, how would you feel? I think they would be ecstatic.
But at the same time, I have begged and begged and begged, and so has my wife. Seth, when he was at the house before, same thing. However, this 15-year-old boy has managed to outdo everybody. Call him Houdini. He always wanted to be a ninja, and we kept goofing around. Well, he has officially done it because, poof, nothing. And it's, the cops have told us this is a case that will go down as a researched study case where they're asking the questions and looking for answers and literally nothing. Everything they try to come up with. Even as of today, we had a meeting with.
And that's another thing. It's such a weird statement. This case will go down. It's almost like he's predicting this case is going to go on for a long time. Remember, this is only a month into Rogers disappearing. And there's many cases where kids, or just, the missing, go missing for months, whatever time period, and they're found. But just such a strange statement to make a month in. And now here we're 7 months. And yeah, this case will definitely be researched. I do agree, but it's such a weird statement. Only a month in. Again, let me know what you think in chat, but it's just so weird. And then here's one more, and then we're going to get to the lights. We almost got 1,000 people in here. We are going to get to what we've discovered.
Like everything we've been saying, is there anything you want us to change? Is there anything new that we can put out? And honestly, they said exactly what y'all have been putting out, the way you've been putting out is exactly what you need to do. Don't add to it. Don't take away from it. And trust me, it kills us because there's so there's facts that we could put out there, and it would put a lot of things to rest.
That shocked me. I wonder what that is. You know, it does make me wonder if there's a possibility maybe they're not involved, but to me, I think it's abduction. FBI has basically said they basically hinted it was abduction. And even Coffin Dapper said, about how they don't normally just put out a reward unless they believe it's fruitful, that they're going to get results, right? So for him, what are these facts that they're hiding? And I would understand that. Let's just say they are innocent, and this was like an abduction, and it's an outside job, and maybe somebody lured Sebastian out, and this vehicle and everything is the key to the case, but they didn't want this out in the public because they didn't want to scare the suspects or whatever that were involved. And I totally understand that, especially in the first week, maybe a month. But, when you're down to 7 months down the road, I think if they were, afraid maybe that they're going to do something to this car, I think if they were going to do that, that would have happened a long time ago, right? So to me, it's like, why not release, if this car is involved, why not release this vehicle? Because I guarantee this footage that we have, it's terrible. It's third, fourth generation. The original footage, I'm pretty sure, probably shows an outline of a vehicle. So let me get to chat, and let me know what you think. I'll play that one more time, but I thought that was so odd.
Honestly, they said exactly what y'all been putting out, the way you've been putting out is exactly what you need to do. Don't add to it. Don't take away from it. And trust me, it kills us because there's there's facts that we could put out there, and it would put a lot of things to rest. But we can't because they say it can potentially cause issues to the investigation.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think. Like I said, the only thing I can think that would relate to is the footage, right? Like, what else would hinder the investigation, by releasing something other than something like this? And I would understand in the first week, even up to a month, that they would want to keep this, tight-lipped, just so they didn't scare the suspects. But we're 7 months down the road now. Rosa, coming in with the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much. 50% of that will go to the foundation, and we'll turn that in at the end of the show. So thank you so much. That's so awesome. We got Amanda Howe supporting the cause. Thank you so much. You are a legend. Again, your donation will go towards the foundation at the end of the show. Ginger Girl, thanks for keeping the focus on finding Sebastian Rogers. Of course, that is the main goal. We are focusing on the evidence, the facts. I know sometimes it seems like I'm only focused on, like the Proudfoots, but right now, everything, not everything, but there's a lot of things that kind of are red flags.
As you can see in
okay, I hope I don't butcher this. Kalina Sandlin, thank you so much for becoming a member. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I think I got it right. But I thank you so much for the support.
In this short clip with the car turning its headlights on, there is a figure seen with a light source to the right of the car. This confirms what was said by the locals on how there were allegedly lights seen moving around this car while it sat on Stafford.
Okay, we are going to get to the lights. We've got over 1,000 people in here. I was going to say something. I lost my train of thought. But again, for those that missed out, I have spoken with the locals. When I did this video originally, they reached out to me because they thought it was really great. They gave me some inside information.
It's believed that after the car sat on Stafford for a bit.
Most of it is what I've shared with you. There are a few tidbits, obviously, that I can't share right now, but maybe when this case kind of opens up, I'll definitely be able to share that. But yeah, basically a car went up down the street, turned around, then let at least one to maybe two people out, possibly took Sebastian, and then for some reason they parked in front of the home.
It finally
there
backs
for a
up onto
minute.
Kel.
Then there was some movement around the car, and then they believe the car then would leave, and then the last footage we have is
And leaves the neighborhood.
a person jumping the ditch.
According to my sources, the light seen going back towards the Proudfoot's home is allegedly after the car has left. They even claim it's like they jumped over the ditch in a hurry.
And this is, I'm coming straight from the homeowner themselves. They believe, so this just kind of goes to show that how bad quality that we're looking at and the quality that the original footage is. They can actually kind of make out figures, because they said they can actually kind of see the person jumping the ditch. So I'm assuming if they can at least make out maybe like a shadow figure or something like that, I would be almost, I'd be shocked if you wouldn't be able to at least make the outline of the vehicle that parks right here. So, okay. All right. So we're going to get into the stuff everybody's been tuned in for. And again, this is a team effort. Huge shout out to Joy Jones and Jamie. I don't want to say her last name just in case she doesn't want her full name out there. She sent in a video, and because I've been asking people to send in, if you can, videos of just turning on your car at night. And I'll kind of explain why we've been doing that, because they're basically what we call control tests. But real quick, this is Amber Nicole Crum. She would be 43 today. It would be her birthday. She was 2 years old. It's a case that we actually went and worked on 1 year ago, I believe. Gosh, time flies. And anyway, she was just 2 years old. The day after Christmas, the mother's boyfriend, keep in mind, they were using, certain substances, if you know what I mean. And anyway, the mom's boyfriend took the 2-year-old to a grocery store just down the street from the home. It was like a Family Dollar store. It's a very small store. He left her in the vehicle, and he went into the grocery store, and then when he came back, she was allegedly gone. But that's his story. But we believe that foul play was involved, and it was likely, allegedly, the family members, or the mother and or the boyfriend at the time. And so here's a picture of her when she was 2 years old, and this is the age progression of her, I believe, in her late 30s. She would have grown up to be a very beautiful woman. And this, of course, took place in Texas. We had actually went out there to the home where she was last seen. Okay? And we actually went under the house, because we believed it's possible she could have been buried under the house. And when we went there, we actually discovered bones. Unfortunately, those bones would take several months to come back, because we found many different types of bones, and some of them did look like human, but we just couldn't tell. And unfortunately, they came back as animal bones.
We need to just take a. I got $1 bill.
It was such a. It was so tough because we even had the officers come and take all the evidence and everything, but unfortunately, it was animal bones. It was such a heartbreak, but we do believe that she's likely buried out there somewhere. But anyway, so we worked on that case, but the ball is rolling again, which is amazing. But so we are donating to Text Protects. We're going to do it at the end of the show. All the donations, super chats, PayPal, Venmo, 50% of it will go because YouTube takes a percentage. But 50% of all the donations will go to that, and we'll do it at the end of the show. 1 in 10 American kids live in Texas. That just shows you how big Texas is. And basically, they're about preventing child, of course I can't use this word together, and child neglect. And they have all these support systems set up to help keep children safe, families together, and there's a lot more. You can check out the website. Is links in the description. And if my mods can, they can put it in the chat. But it's a nonprofit organization, and that's what we'll be donating to. Okay, we are now getting to the lights. All right, let's break this down, guys. Yeah, Carolyn from Unearthed Secrets. She was a rock star in the Amber Crumb case. She was the one crawling under the home, which was a very tight space. Okay, so Jamie had sent in a video of I forget the model of the truck, right? But she sent in a video of the truck, and something stuck out to me. Obviously, something stuck out to them when they were watching it, and it's amazing because, of course, as you guys know, we have been so focused on the sea and had no luck. We thought maybe it could be, something to do with the lights, like maybe the blinker or just where the headlight frame is at. But then when you line that up, it's like it's just too big, right? So they sent this in. And for those that can see, and we're going to stop the video here in a second, but there's something striking that sticks out. Now, originally we thought this could have been exhaust, which it really did look like exhaust. But now after seeing this footage, I think this is part of the road. And what is causing the sea is really...
And I don't think there's a death penalty there in Tennessee. I think there is. That's from Tennessee.
Oh, let me turn this down real quick.
Explain that really quick, dog. Just really.
One of the issues I had, right, is as you see when I'm lining up these cars, right, you'll notice that like I'll tilt them and stuff because of the brake lights, how they're kind of angled, right? And it's weird. It was just having such a tough time trying to line up because some people thought, well, maybe that's the bumper, kind of causing that C shape, right? So this is kind of light up here. Maybe it's the fog lights and the headlights, right? And so, of course, we've overlaid a bunch of vehicles. And yeah, some look good, but still just could not figure out what is creating this sea, And anyway, as we fast forward here, we get this video, and after examining it, you can see what is likely causing that C. Now, this is a truck, and I think it just kind of depends on the lights and the vehicle and the height. But here, I'm going to zoom in here. But here's me zooming it in. And let me know what you think in chat here, and then I'll show you even more to add more to this theory. But look at that. I know this kind of looks more like a V, right? But look at the depth, right? Of how much that comes out, just like this does. And I think it just depends on the vehicle, maybe the headlamps, the shape of the vehicle possibly, which may create a V or a C. But to me, I believe that is what's going on. And so we are seeing the ground illuminated, possibly maybe fog lights. And what was great about what Jamie did is she actually took the video from a higher vantage point, right? Because the camera that looks at the suspicious vehicle, obviously it's about 10 feet tall, 9 to 10 feet tall from the ground. And so it's kind of looking down at the suspicious vehicle. And I think that is what we are seeing. And you'll notice it's so crazy. Again, I originally thought it was the exhaust from that light, but there's more to this, I promise. By figuring that out, we can now figure out the tail lights. It all kind of comes together, you know. You figure out one piece, then, you know, you can kind of start to put them all together. And I promise you, I'll show you guys that here in just a second. Yeah, when we were looking for Ambercrumb, when we were under this little tight space, my hands. Yeah, I kind of accidentally dove down on my arms, and I thought I cracked a couple ribs. Luckily, I think I just bruised them, but yeah, that sucked. Yeah, PayPal, anything that comes in, yeah. We'll it'll all go. We'll put it all together at the end. We'll add it all up. Black Witter. Karen Alberini, I'll just say Karen, is asking if you can change the color or hue to red. A lady from the UK thinks she can see. Oh yeah, a lady thinks she can see a bag, a person with a bag when she's adjusted the color and tone hue. And I think I got an email. Thank you so much, Sandy. So, not to get off track, but to answer her question, she's asking if I'm able to take this footage and change the hue. You know, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it done where you can kind of change the colors. In my opinion, sometimes what you end up doing is you start adding pixels and stuff, and you start adding things that are not actually really there, and then I think you get a case of what pareidolia, basically the ruckus video. Think of the ruckus video. To me, that's a case of pareidolia. You know, you can see figures and stuff. They zoomed in really. They even did some filters with the ruckus video as well, and in my opinion, that's what may have happened with this person. But yeah, I have not been able to run different filters and come across anything that looks like somebody walking with a bag, in my opinion. All right, yeah. So we're talking about that right now, Cynthia. There's a couple of them. Okay. So again, sorry, I had to go jump back for a second. But again, yeah, look at the gaps there. I'm pretty sure that is what's creating the C, right? So we talked about the higher vantage point, but then, okay, so this is where we left off. So remember, this video was Joy Jones, right? But she took her video from a lower vantage point, right? She took it from kind of straight on, which obviously if we were going to recreate a proper control test, we would want the camera up higher looking down, right? Because that's how the security footage is. But even with her footage, you can actually see the C in there. It's really hard, and I'm going to blow it up for you guys, but you can actually see the C in there. And I'll explain everything on how the C is being created at the end. And I promise you it'll make sense. And then from there, we're going to go to the tail light. And I promise you everything's going to come together. So even there, so as you can see, as we zoom in, even though she's got this low vantage point, you can see the shadow, right? And then the lights curve. So even there, so it's too bad, Joy Jones, and if you are watching Joy Jones, if by chance you would like to, because I would love to see it from a sedan, if you could perhaps just record from a higher vantage point and down, you'll see that C. Now, this is where we combine the C and the tail lights. And I promise you, this is, in my opinion, this is huge. Sorry, I got to take a sip here. So notice, the lights are almost perfectly, there's a straight line with the lights, right? We've got this perfect where it cuts off with the lights. Same thing here. We've got, look how perfect, it's almost like a perfect straight line across. So if we look at that, everything looks good, but the tail lights, there's an issue between the two tail lights. Can you guys see this? And I'm going to blow it up. Sorry, I got a bunch of clips. Okay, so if we were to bring the truck down, right, almost to overlay it, but without blocking it, and just kind of like made the truck smaller. So we'd have the truck light here and the tail light, but notice, do you notice the difference between the two tail lights? Because remember, this is our straight line, so we know the vehicle would be side view right here, but we have an issue. We have a vertical tail light, but notice this one's not straight up and down. Do you guys see that? This is a huge clue. Huge. In two different perspectives, because now we can kind of tell where the light would be, and I'm gonna hopefully if some more people can send in footage, and I'm gonna hopefully maybe tonight or tomorrow night, I'm gonna also do it in my my Toyota Robs SUV, because I want to see a truck, SUV, sedan. I want to see them all and test them all, but we need that higher vantage point. But yeah, notice the taillights in the surveillance footage is angled, right? So we have an issue. And here, look at the truck in this photo here. So I put the photo where we see the suspicious vehicle lights and tail lights, and then we see the truck, right? So look at that. The truck is perfectly right side up, right? So we know we've got our picture oriented in the right perspective. And so we know the vehicle is going to be lined up this way, right? It's not going to be sitting down at an angle. It's going to be sitting this way. So if it's sitting this way, we put all those clues together. And here's a close-up of the truck. As you can see, it's right side up, lines right up with this. And just to give a perspective of what we're looking at, here's where the camera's at. Here's where that white truck would be sitting. Here's where the suspicious car would be sitting. And they would almost be sitting at almost the same level, right? The only thing where the road is kind of off is where it dips, you know, because obviously the roads, they kind of have a little bit of a hump in the middle because the water's going to run off on each side. You know, when it rains, it's going to, they're going to have a slight hump in the middle because the rain's going to run off into the gutters. That's the same with the driveways. They're set up the same way. That way you don't just get a pool of water. But again, for the most part, the truck and the suspicious vehicle would be, for the most part, at near about the same height. I think the driveway might be slightly a little bit higher, but for the most part, they're going to be pretty equal. So now, oops, sorry. If we put all those together, that's right, Rosebud. If we put all the puzzle pieces together, that means this vehicle has to have taillights that are slightly at an angle. Again, I think that's huge. Again, of course, there's going to be a lot of vehicles that are going to have angled taillights, but that is exactly what we're looking for. Again, that narrows down a lot of vehicles. It really does. So the vehicle would be sitting something like that. And I'm going to explain what causes the C. Because it was driving me nuts, right? What is causing the C? I put this in here. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't remember if I did the C or not. So let me just leave that here for a minute. I know I downloaded that video, didn't I? Or did I not download it? Maybe I didn't download it. Okay, that's okay. So basically, let me go to Paint. This is what's creating the C, in my opinion. I would like to do a couple more tests, but I'm like 90% sure that's the C. What would be... Let me grab this one. Okay. Do I got a top-down view of a vehicle? No. Okay. So this is what I believe, because man, that sucks. I think I was trying to, again, I was working on a bunch of things. So what's creating the C is you've got the lights, right? Let's say if we're looking at a top-down view of a car. I've got to have a top-down view. Hold on. Of course. What in the hell did I just do? This would be so much easier if I got a top-down view of a vehicle. I promise you this will come together. Alright, give me a top-down view. Top-down view. Might have to go snag one up. Oh my gosh. I've got so many vehicles. Not a single one that's top-down view. You've got to be kidding me. All right, 1 second, guys. Top-down view sedan. Okay. Be nice to have like a real one. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Bear with me 1 second. I'll get to chat. I'll read it and do all that stuff again. Anybody that has donated and I haven't thanked them yet, I promise you I will get to you. Again, we will donate everything at the end because I like to do that during the live show. Okay. I should probably just do this with a blank canvas here. All right. So, what is likely creating the sea? Oh, I wanted that dark. Okay. So this is what is likely creating the sea, because I was looking at other videos, right? Okay, so here's the headlight, right? Here's the headlight. So the beam comes out, right? But it does this thing here where it comes like that. And then you have the other headlight. Wait, I did that wrong. Comes out like that. Is it the... It's something to that effect where you get this like round shape going on. And I think I did it backwards. But you get the picture. Anyway, let me go back. But basically, so this one here is the left headlight. This is the right headlight. That's what I wanted to do. Oh, I had it backwards. I knew it. So anyway, it's like that. I knew I drew it backwards. So that's what is likely going on is you've got the headlights coming in, but there's a shadow in between the two lights, right? And that's what's creating the sea, I believe. So this is the left headlight. So this would be kind of the left headlight, and this would be kind of the right headlight. There would probably be a little bit more here, but basically that's what it is, and we've kind of got a top view of it, if that makes sense. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed my art skills. I knew I had it backwards when I was going to do it with the top-down view. But again, learning about how this is the straight one, that means now we're looking for a vehicle with vertical taillights at an angle, right? Not straight up. So, sorry, I'm going to read chat here in just a second. Go back to my video here. But to me, that is huge because now we can kind of focus on taillights that got that angle to it. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Was it from the bumper? I think it might be a combination, but I think it's just the lights and how they just kind of make this like half moon circle with each other. But they leave this kind of like V or C shape in between them, right? And it is part of the car creating that C shadow. Because again, you'd see, I would try to line up vehicles and sometimes I would dip them down because I'm like, well, doesn't add up, and I thought, you know, maybe it's the headlight thing. I know I went over this, but again, that looks so close to it, and
again, with how deep it goes in as well, and I'm sure with that, again, that's with the, I forget, that's like with the truck. So maybe with the bulbs and the way they're shaped, the headlamps, maybe with different vehicles, maybe like with this truck, you kind of get a V shape. Maybe with a different vehicle, you might get the C shape. You know, that's why I'd like to see a few more just to kind of, like I said, I'm at 90% sure that's what this is. But it'd be nice to do it just a couple more tests. Low 12, good to see you. Yeah, it could be from the bumper for sure. Jacqueline, good to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Linda says, interesting. Again, yeah, if this is true, then we are now focusing on vehicles that are going to be with a vertical headlight. Maybe this, like the top part, but even this is kind of regular top-down view. Oh, that's something else. Wish I had them all together, but you know, that one would fit because that's kind of got the angle. That one, no. This one's another good one right there. So, you know, we got some work to do, but I don't think it would be this one. Don't think it would be this one. That one. Certainly not the wreckage. Again, it's baby steps. Of course, I'm not going to crack the case, you know, but I'm trying my hardest to, you know, look at everything and at all angles, but I think that's very huge. Crafting with Sassy Chicks. That's a great name. Nissan Rogue. Yeah, I had a Nissan Rogue. Again, we may have to do another car lineup, except we're going to look at vertical taillights. But again, if anybody has a sedan and would like to film the vehicle, just turn on the lights or fog lights. But, you know, maybe from a little bit higher vantage point, that would be amazing. So let me read chat for a minute. Again, we're going to donate at the end of the show.
The public searching their property. There's been no sightings on home surveillance video of Sebastian so far. And the teen's scent, his smell, hasn't been picked up by any canines. Law enforcement say they just want to find the teen and bring him home.
Oh, sorry,
First
Carol. Can you
responders
play it
had covered
again,
more
please?
than 2,000 miles in the span of 4 days looking for Sebastian Rogers. The autistic teen was last seen early Monday in the area of Stafford Court.
If you could let me know, Carol. I'm sorry. Maybe it was the audio of something. But thank you so much, Carol, for the $5. We will put 50% of that down towards the donations. If you need anything, let us know. Neighbor down the road. Thank you so much, Leslie and Billy. You guys are amazing. Mary says, could it have been an electric or hybrid car for silence to no noise that would attract attention? Ooh, that's a good question. Again, I always think you got to think this car likely, I'm assuming electric and hybrid cars likely have the new GPS, Bluetooth stuff. You got to think of a vehicle that is most likely doesn't have the OnStar infotainment type stuff in it, right?
If you see something
that could be traced.
That the dogs would not be allowed to.
If you think of the Alex Murdaugh case, some of the stuff they were able to obviously use against him was his vehicle because it had, I think it had OnStar and infotainment, and so they were able to track his movements, and some of the things where he said he went wasn't true. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Scales of Justice says cameras mirror imaged. Cameras mirror image. Yes, they do. I'm not sure if you're talking about a specific thing, but you are correct. When it comes to surveillance camera footage, yeah, mirrored stuff happens all the time. But thank you so much for the donation. Ford Flex, what do the rear lights look like? I am not sure. I think maybe we'll do another vehicle test now that we have more information about this vehicle. But I really do think we have solved the C, in my opinion. And again, to me, it's super exciting because I've been sitting looking at this footage every day almost every day. Sometimes I'll take a day off, but I've been looking at the same footage, and it's only, if you put it all together, it's only 2 minutes worth of footage. And I've been looking at it over and over, and trying to look at it at all perspectives, and of course taking your guys's suggestions as well. And again, a lot of what we've done is you guys coming together, sending tips. This Jamie that sent this video in, this is amazing. It's truly amazing. Chris, did you try a winch? I did not. I'm sorry, Leslie. I'm going to write it down. I will look at a winch. I really do think we figured out the C, though. I do like the winch theory, though. I'm not going to lie. I could see how that could kind of cause the shadow. But, again, now we know that this tail light is got to be vertical, and that's going to exclude a lot of vehicles. It still could be an SUV. I know I look at sedans, but I know I say sedan, but I still look at all vehicles. So yeah. All right, guys, I am going to start adding everything up real quick so we can send in donations. Sandra, thank you so much. I'm going to write this down. Let me play this audio. There's a couple things in this audio. Let me play this while I write all this down real quick.
I don't know.
Super clear, but you would have seen a shadow or a figure.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Based on, something would have been visible because one of the lights is still visible from that Ring camera from across the street.
Yeah.
That has been, like I said, every video, and I've said this through Facebook, everything in the neighborhood. I couldn't talk to you enough positive about my neighborhood because anybody had cameras voluntarily gave up hard drives, flash drives, access to clouds for them. They've let people go in and search their houses multiple times without needing a warrant or a subpoena or anything. They've just openly done it. So, I mean, that's why it's so difficult right now.
Yeah. Now they come out and I know this is part of the investigation, so you may not can answer this, but it was public because we saw them with our own eyes. So they come out about 11 times, counting the backyard where they took pictures. Okay. So did they come in and check as well the 11 times or
door
in front of a door? Okay. I was just wondering. So, so can he get out the back? Okay, so he can go.
Is there an exit out the back of the house? Yes, that's unobscured from anything. Yes.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, how did you know that he went specifically out the front door? What made you think that?
We presume that he left out the front door. We never know 100%, obviously, but we presume based off of process of elimination, going over it with law enforcement, going over the house, where things are, how things are, Sebastian's routine, and the fact that that's the door that he always uses or prefers to use, because I won't say 100% of the time he does come in with me through another door, but that's the door Sebastian prominently uses. That's the one that if he were going to sneak out of the house or leave the house for whatever reason, that's the most reasonable door that he would have left out of. Any of the others would have made noise or not
Or would not
been.
have been locked.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because
the back door would not lock.
from the outside, like the front, no. You'd have to had a key.
So I can't. I'm not going to describe every door lock in our house to
No, I
y'all. First,
understand that.
that's a safety thing.
Yeah, I
But
understand that. Don't do that.
yeah, but what I can say is there's
Okay.
only two doors.
Okay, I'm gonna lock this in now. So I gotta add this up. We've got D. I'm just gonna say D because I think they want to remain anonymous. Send in a nice generous donation. Thank you so much, D. Amanda, thank you so much. Ari, thank you so much for the donation. Pam, thank you so much. Sandra, you are awesome. Thank you so much for the donation. I think I've got everything, and I'm just going to do the total here. Like I said, we're taking 50%. Amanda, yep, okay, I got Amanda, Ari, okay, and then of course I got all you guys. Okay, so we are just going to quickly add this up. Give me one more second, and then we're going to send this in. You guys are amazing.
He could have gone out, where he could have locked
from the outside.
On his own from the outside, and the one. He wouldn't have gone out because of how much noise it makes.
Yeah.
Everybody would have. Plus, it would have been seen on camera. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I mean, it would have been seen on camera. So, by suspicion or reasonable elimination of all these doors, it's front door.
Okay. And there was no windows unlocked or anything like that y'all can tell or could tell. I'm sure they looked at all that.
Yeah, with the screen.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I am so excited to say and I'm just going to kind of boost it up a little bit. We are donating $300 to the foundation. That is so awesome. And we've got Low 12 did such an amazing job. Great job, Chris, and your hard work is appreciated. Thank you so much, Low 12. You are amazing. Sandy, thank you so much for becoming a member. And yeah, I just kind of rounded it up to $300 altogether here. So that is amazing. So I'm gonna leave this playing for a second. Obviously, I have to do my card information, and I don't want to do it. I can't show you guys my card information, so I'm just going to let this video play real quick, but I like to show receipts when I turn in donations. But that is amazing, $300. Thank you guys so much for the support. Blackwater, thank you so much for being a member for 13 months. There may be somebody I miss. If I do, I'm sorry. And that's why I'm kind of rounding it up to 300 here. That is awesome. Again, 1 in 4 children live in Texas. It just shows you how many, or 1 in 10, I'm sorry, 1 in 10. It just shows you how big Texas is. It's amazing. But again, this will prevent likely something that Abercrombie, they could have helped her out. And so this is really a huge thing. And this is for her birthday because she would have been 43 years old. So I'm going to leave this playing. I'm going to play that early part of the weird things that Chris said. If you guys want to hear that again while I turn in these donations. Would then park near, then perhaps one person got out while.
Because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it. The first things that was asked is because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it.
Video or
Sure. So there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay, and that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what I can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from, and nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately.
okay.
And anything about any other videos or anything.
Okay, so I sent the $300 donation. That's weird though. Why doesn't it say how much I sent in?
Continue to do is
don't
go
like
back
that.
over everything we've already done once. Put a fresh set of eyes on it.
To that end, Craddock says searchers recently found a pair of glasses, which they are checking to see if they belong to Sebastian. He says the parents continue to fully cooperate. Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see two suspicious light sources, which we've circled here in an area behind the
there
teen's
we go.
home.
Awesome.
Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
Awesome.
No,
Why?
because the investigation
Okay.
remains ongoing.
Ooh.
And
was
so
gonna-
it
I was
could
getting a little
play
worried
role
there
down
for a
the road
second.
depending on developments.
Okay. So, as you can see here, $300. Sorry, let me just blow this up real quick. So there you go, $300. I just rounded it up. I think it was like 50% was like 280 something, so I just rounded it up to 300. So, thank you guys so much. That's so awesome that we did that. Again, it's not something we do a lot, but that was a lot of fun. Leah says PT Cruiser, HHR, Chrysler Pacifica are angled. Yeah, Leah, we'll probably have to definitely do another car one now that we assume that this is going to be a vertical angled taillight, right? So we may have to do another. I think this would be part 3 on doing that. Is my chat working? Hold on here. Live chat. Chris, you need to be paid also. I'll get ad revenue. I get like a small percentage, but most of that goes towards the foundation. That's why we just kind of did a one-time thing. Yes, Weeping Waters. We'll do another vehicle show now that we've kind of learned those details. It seems my chat's disconnecting and connecting, so I'm getting a little worried that I might lose my thing here. So Susan says Subaru or Prius. Yeah, everybody's now coming in with the vehicles. Again, maybe Friday we could do a show
I'll let you guys know. If not, maybe we'll do it Saturday. So, but that's awesome. We donated $300. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate that. And again, we're going to continue to knock this, break this footage down. And if there's anybody out there that wants to debunk me or challenge what I've done, I want to see it. I would love to see, I could certainly be wrong on things. But I feel pretty confident that I got a lot of the stuff lined up where it should be. Right? And again, I'm just focusing on the evidence. So, and wherever that leads, it leads. But I think that if there's any time that something will happen in Sebastian Rogers' case, it's got to be now or never. Ari says the headlights aren't curved around the side of the vehicle. They are only visible from the front. Around the side of the vehicle, they're only visible from the front. Yeah, it's tough to say what's, yeah, it's tough to, that footage is a mystery for sure. Thank you so much, Susan. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. So, I know a lot of people, Bauer socks. I know. Yeah. Well, we're going to find out. Well, I don't want to say that, but we're going to try. We're going to try our best. So, I just want to say huge shout out to Karen, Jennifer, Dee, Jocelyn, Copper Horse. I think I saw you in here earlier. Thank you to all my wonderful mods. They do such an amazing job. We're going to have to do something for them before the year's over. But with that, I think I'm going to head out, guys. When you are investing in what you do, having enough is the goal a lot of times. Yep. Thank you so much. No worries, Buddha. I appreciate all of you guys. So, we'll be back Friday. If other ways to support this channel is becoming a member or Patreon. I'm doing stuff for my Patreons. I'm almost done. I'm doing some big videos for the Madeline Soto case. All the interviews I've been working on. They keep coming, so I'm trying to put them all in like one thing. That way you can just listen to all the interviews, and I'm trying to enhance the audio. So I'm working on those as well. And then we've got the Delphi case coming literally around the corner, and it sounds like it's actually going to happen. So we may start doing Delphi and Sebastian Rogers because the trial is just 3 weeks away or less, I think. So yeah, thank you guys. You guys, the love and support, you guys are amazing. Again, Team Sebastian, that's who matters the most. And again, a huge shout out to everybody that's out there searching, again, it's truly amazing. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and we will be back here Friday. So much love to you guys. Oh, and the pet outro, I know some people send in pets. If you're a member or Patreon, you can send in pet pictures. But I am getting a few more, and I'll try to get that fixed as well.